Good morning, Milwaukee. I am Devon Jones, DJ the Protege, here with, what's your name again?
Yeah. Oh, so you gonna start this morning? I was gonna
Keith
be nice.
will be in shortly.
I was gonna be nice, man.
I think this is the blues guy. I don't know. But good morning, Milwaukee. Phone lines are open, 414-444-5250. Again, 414-444-5250. Phone lines are open, and just welcome to Free Flow Friday here on Community Voice. It is a good Friday, is it not?
It was.
Yeah,
it
you
was.
must have smelt your breath. Hey,
I
know you be getting here early, man. You be getting here early, man.
It was. You didn't bring no breakfast or nothing, man?
Mm-mm. I ain't bring nothing for myself.
You probably had something for you.
No, I didn't.
You didn't eat nothing?
I didn't. I never eat this early. But again, good morning to you. Got a lot going on this weekend. A lot has happened. A lot of announcements as far as politics, sports, and then just local news. One of the things that I did want to touch on is the individuals that were charged with Devontae Mitchell's, execution, basically his killing.
What does that look like, though? Are they in custody?
Three of them are in custody. They said 3 out of the 4 are in custody. So just
where's the other one? He fled.
I don't know. I'm assuming that they turned themselves in. But my biggest question is, what about the supervisors? Who
were they on scene?
Well, the one guy said that, he was given orders to get back on that person.
Yeah, that was the guy that was on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
I'd heard that.
So if any of the supervisors were present, I mean, you just don't have the right to tell somebody to kill somebody, so we have that. You said, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
I mean, you kind of spoke to it. I was asking, if they were in custody. When you said 3 of the 4,
three of the 4 are in custody.
Where's number 4? What's he doing?
I don't know. I do know that obviously with due process, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. They're probably having to lawyer up, or probably have already done that.
I'm sure they were doing that the whole time. They were waiting to see what was.
This is definitely going to be one of the hottest local criminal justice cases.
Do you think? I think it's going to be rather difficult to prosecute, though.
I don't think so.
To get a conviction, yeah.
I mean, it's video footage. Again, these aren't police officers. These were security guards. Now police officers, they have that immunity, and then they have other things on their side that would lend it to be a more tricky case. But the individual was removed from the establishment. He was outside. Once he's outside, there's no reason to go to the lengths that they did, and to the extent that they did, that he ultimately lost his life. Like I said, everybody who was involved needs to be charged and to be brought to justice.
Even the young lady who hit him with the broom?
Yeah.
Get her too?
Yeah.
Miss Jackie out there, she said, yep, get her too.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, as a security individual, we know that they're supposed to procure the perimeter.
They're supposed to do what?
They're supposed to procure
posters.
Yeah, they're supposed to.
Thank
you. Know what I'm saying, man? You understood it.
Yeah,
you understood it.
What's understood ain't got to be said, right?
You know it. Okay. Hey, like they say, it's always a treat when players meet.
There you go.
Now, once he's on the outside, now you just do your best ability to make sure he don't come back inside. Mm-hmm. He was outside. If he get the, cussing people out and, doing backflips and stuff, that's okay, as long as they're
But he,
not
but
in the
he
premises.
wasn't doing any of that inside.
They felt
And
the
all of the
need.
footage that I have seen,
Mhm.
hands up.
Right.
Okay, you even hear him say one time, "Okay, I'll leave."
Right. But they felt the need to have to use force to get them out. So, okay, that's their property. You got to remove certain individuals or cases that you feel is a nuisance. But once they are removed out, now
Yeah, but
what
they
what are
drug
we
the
doing?
man, drug his clothes off of him.
Right. Right.
Come on, man.
And so
I don't
that
have no sympathy on folks like
I
that.
have no sympathy. Is most certainly unacceptable. And there are 3 people that have been arrested or turned themselves in, and now we're just waiting on that 4th. And I believe more people need to be charged. Again, 414-444-5250. Phone lines are open. Again, there is a lot of discussion going on about uh, this case, this situation. I mean, it was brought to national attention to where Ben Crump and the Reverend Al Sharpton came to our city, and it wasn't for a glorious reason. It was for a tragedy, and so much, much, much respect out to the family and loved ones of Mr. Mitchell, and hopefully we do see justice served. Um, have you gotten a chance to get out to State Fair?
I have not. I said I would probably go Sunday since it is the last day.
Yep, it's the last weekend, the last day, and when State Fair is ending, it's like a small signal that summer is ending. I always pay attention to when summer begins, when the sun rises, and then when the sun sets.
How you doing, Brother Q?
You doing all right?
Mike policy?
No, I don't do that. He in here. He the reason I'm here.
I mean, it's your show today,
Nah,
No?
it's never my program.
Just Mike policy.
He
just turn his mic on.
Turn his mic on.
That's all you had to say.
He got unlimited service.
You were here first.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning,
sir. How are you?
I'm good.
I don't know if you was listening, but we was just touching on the Mitchell, and then transitioning to just State Fair, and it being the last week for State Fair. I was getting into I always pay attention to the beginning of summer when the sun rises and then when the sun sets, and then as summer progresses, those times begin to be later as far as the sun rises, and then earlier as far as the sun sets. So I haven't been to State Fair yet. I may step down there. I am relatively close to State Fair as far as where I work, and so got some new foods out there that probably may garner my interest.
Fried mashed potatoes.
Fried mashed potatoes.
Deep fried mashed potatoes.
Never heard of deep fried mashed potatoes.
Well, that's what State Fairs are known for. If you can fry it, they're gonna try it. Let me do this real quickly.
Is State Fair gonna mess with people's diabetes?
Yeah, and blood pressure, and plus it's usually hot.
All right, drink some water.
You're invited to attend a back to school book bag bash giveaway. So I'm assuming it's a book bag giveaway. That's going to be tomorrow, August the 10th, at New Hope Missionary Baptist Church, 2433 West Roosevelt Avenue, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Join us for food, fun, and school supplies. First come, first serve, while supplies last. Hope to see everybody there. Again, that's the Back to School Bash giveaway. And it's going to be at New Hope Missionary Baptist Church under the leadership of Dr. Archie Ivy tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The address there is 2433 West Roosevelt Avenue. So just wanted to do that.
And then just to follow up on what we were speaking on earlier with Devontae Mitchell, the fourth individual turned himself in. And so
Okay.
all four are in custody, and it is believed that court will be today. So
I wonder if they're going to do a plea.
who knows?
I
I
mean,
guess
that,
I'm pretty. I mean, this has been a high profile situation and incident. Obviously, a tragedy. They probably lawyered up,
oh, no doubt.
and they are probably receiving some logical counsel because, like I said, law enforcement uh, they have some leeway as far as the back channels and due process, actually, when it comes to and discretion. Law enforcement are providing a lot of discretion when it comes to uh situations of this magnitude, but these are just security guards.
Well, I think if we just went on the apparent evidence, the video, both inside and outside the hotel, it seems to be a pretty slam dunk case in terms of evidence. Now, it only takes one juror to hang a jury. I think it's interesting because I believe their defense attorneys are going to try to say that, in effect, he died from the effects of the methamphetamines and cocaine in his system, because that was mentioned in the medical report. But I think the primary cause was asphyxiation based on them kneeling on his back and his inability to breathe. And, you kept saying he wasn't resisting at any point. He kept apologizing. And I think the most damning thing is when the guy said, "This is what you get when you go in the women's bathroom."
Right.
That made it turn into something else. Right. So
An ultimate tragedy. And even the wife said, it would have been, she could have coped with it better if he would have just been able to go to jail.
oh yeah, I gave a
if
list
he was
of
wrong,
people,
he was wrong, and
but that would have been a disorderly conduct,
right,
public disturbance. Those are municipal citations at worst.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I agree with her. I agree with you. And again, if we didn't have the videotape, it would be something else. The fact that it took so long, and you have other situations where they're charging right away, and so what does that say? But I don't know if they're going to probably try to get a plea, but it's pretty damning. And Debo asked a question about the woman inside who hit him with a stick. I don't know why she wasn't charged.
Right.
So we will see. I think they're getting them for manslaughter and second-degree homicide. I don't know what the
think so,
charges
but
are.
I know the autopsy was, it was homicide.
Oh yeah, no, there's no question. But homicide just means that you died at the hands of another human being, right? Homicide could be vehicle or homicide. You might not necessarily be in fault, but it's still
right.
Cause of death was by another human being, and so I'm that's tough. But it's
of all the positive things that are going on within our community and within the state. I mean, my mom, she always deemed summer as festival season. You know what I mean? And so
summertime,
all of the good festivals and a lot of no real negative incidents have come about any from majority of the festivals that have gone on throughout the summer. Well, we get slammed with something as a traumatic.
Well, this came up yesterday. Michelle was speaking about it on her program yesterday morning. The press release that the Summerfest is going to have Juneteenth activities. Now, we don't know what that looks like, what that means.
Well, Summerfest did come out with a comment, and they said that, the regular Juneteenth festivities during the day will continue as it has always been. And then in the evening, Summerfest will hold additional Summerfest grounds will hold additional Juneteenth events, which it's funny that has come about because me and my girlfriend, we were driving down by the lake during Harley Davidson parade and all of that, and they got the lake laid out with no parking and motorcycle only and things of that nature. And the question was asked, man, they don't do that for Juneteenth. But I said that it's more symbolic to have Juneteenth on MLK Drive, and just what that represents, and one, who Dr. King is, and just how it has represented Black people, Black culture. It's in the middle of Bronzeville, which historic MLK Drive, for as many years that I can remember, a number of taverns, a number of restaurants that have been on that boulevard, and that is still continuing to grow. It's still expanding in that area. So it's funny that was brought up, but I do like the way that they are at least presenting it, as Juneteenth is still going to remain on King Drive, and then whenever the events end.
Have any of the statements that you guys are speaking to now been verified? Because I know initially it just came out as a press release. And there was no.
It was a post on Facebook, because obviously when the initial statement or announcement came about, people were pushing back on it, and then whoever handles the Summerfest page, they responded and said, like, no, it's still going to go on as usual. Juneteenth will be on MLK Drive, and then when things end.
So is this a collaboration of the two for the latter part?
I think
it looks like it.
I think what it is, and it in a moment of sobriety, it hit me. Summerfest has to acknowledge that they're starting on Juneteenth Day because it's a national holiday. Mm-hmm. This year, they also include the 4th of July. So if you read the statement, they said it goes from Juneteenth to Independence Day. Mm-hmm. If Summerfest wouldn't have said we're doing anything to acknowledge Juneteenth,
but they haven't in the past,
because they've never had Summerfest doing Juneteenth.
It never fell on it.
Right. So because of the change in schedule, then that makes perfect sense in terms of we're acknowledging that it is Juneteenth Day. That's a holiday just like on the 4th of July. Mm-hmm. So we're acknowledging that.
Let me ask this, Keith. Is this something that Tony and Summerfest has spoke to, or something that Summerfest is proposing?
No. I'm assuming they mentioned Tony Kearney.
Yeah, they mentioned Northcott,
and it makes sense because Northcott does the biggest Juneteenth celebration in the city.
Not just in the city, in the world. They claim we are the biggest in the world.
I think we are the longest running.
Mm-hmm. So it on that piece of it makes sense to me. Because the reaction would have been if Summerfest would have announced that they're doing it from June 19th and the weekend of June 26th and then the weekend of July 3rd, then people are going to go, well, they're acknowledging Independence Day, but they're not acknowledging Juneteenth Day. So I think it makes sense. I don't think that there was any discussion, though, it seemed, about moving. I went in the negotiations about moving Juneteenth to Summerfest grounds because that would defeat
but the one thing
whole spirit and magic of Juneteenth.
That's what I was talking about.
You're shutting down at 4:00 anyway,
right?
On MLK.
Mm-hmm. So it depends on the act that they bring in. Let's say they bring in Charlie Wilson. Mm-hmm. Okay. When the first year when it was a national holiday, I don't know if you remember, CNN did a concert at the LA Bowl, right? And Earth, Wind, and Fire, of course, John Legend. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Your guy.
Yeah, my guy. But so it would be, and so then the people who want to go down, if there's an act that people want to see, and it depends on who they put on those, either on those stages. I don't know what main stage act they would bring down for Juneteenth Day that would sell out the amphitheater, because that and this as a professional musician, Part of it is, can we sell the tickets? Now, Lauryn Hill just canceled her tour because nobody's buying the tickets.
Right. Nobody want to go to somebody who's going to show up 3 hours late. She is a tremendous talent, but I love her music and I want to listen to her music on my phone or on YouTube because I will hear it on time. We've heard so many complaints from individuals who attended.
I haven't heard these.
Oh yeah,
that she don't show up on time. I never. Come on, man. Then you're not paying attention.
She hadn't.
I'm woke.
No,
she hadn't been
snoring when it comes to that.
I'm not like.
She even said it in her song with Nas that she's dropping jewels, but people complaining about her lateness. Like,
you need to respect
people's time.
You need to respect your audience.
You don't have to do that.
What? You don't have to respect. If I pay to see you, I'm taking my money and putting it in your hand.
You'll be there when I get there.
And hey, that's why I would never go to a Lauryn Hill concert.
Well, and speaking of Summerfest and the history of Summerfest, everyone remembers, if you're old enough to remember, the infamous Sly Stone concert at Summerfest, where Sly Stone refused to come out of his hotel room for 2 hours because of paranoia. And the people sat there at the lake waiting on Sly Stone.
That's ridiculous, man.
Have you ever seen the movie Summer Soul?
What are you insinuating when you said because of his paranoia?
He was high. What? Have you ever seen the movie Summer Soul?
No.
Okay, in Summer Soul, they're interviewing these brothers, and Sly and the Family Stone is one of the groups. This is 19.
That's LA, wasn't it?
No, that was New York.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so the brother said, we're going to see Sly. Now, we don't know if he's going to show up or not. We don't know if he's going to be late, but we're here for Sly because he had that reputation.
So and then I'm not giving a pass.
Yeah, preface it with that, please.
Right. Because, people are hard of hearing in front of me.
Just go, man.
But when people talk about when people show up to Sly and he actually show up, he still provided a full performance.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
I've heard plenty of people say that they provided a full performance. Excuse me, Lauryn Hill. They say that you'll wait for a few hours, 45 minutes.
It can't be a few hours, man.
Sometimes
yes, it has, man.
They'll sit. It's amazing, man. To disrespect your audience.
Erykah Badu was just at the rave a couple years ago, and she was a couple hours late.
Well, that's the rave. No disrespect. That's the rave.
I mean, it don't matter, man. You put that on your schedule.
Like it was major sponsors, man, for your show.
You put that on your schedule.
Yeah. No, I know you put it on your schedule, and the rave should have a penalty in terms of payment for you being late.
I'm sure there's something in place because it's all contractual.
Right. And then a joint like the rave, anyway,
don't care about that.
They said that if Snoop gonna be at 8:00, Snoop ain't coming on to 11.
Right.
But
that's opening acts and all of that.
That's the other part. If he's the headliner,
right,
he's not coming on till 11:00, 10:30.
But that's different.
It's not different.
That is different because ain't nobody coming on for them.
He's saying, but the point I think DJ is making is that if Love, Peace, and Soul is the only act, and we waiting 2 hours, because I wanted to go and see Santana, but I didn't want to see Counting Crows because Counting Crows was the opening act. So I'm just
that's what I'm saying.
But them opening acts is very rarely maybe an hour and a half.
Encounter a concert where it's just the main act. There is going to be comedian,
right?
All kinds of different things that's going to take place to get you to that.
But we're talking about in the span of that last early act.
So the last act before the main act,
right?
And now you're sitting there 2 hours.
You sitting, that's what people are talking about.
No.
And I don't see how you ain't heard that.
They disrespect their fans. If you want to do that, you do that at your own peril. So when you go on tour, obviously she don't need the money.
Grows up to be,
and she
don't need the money.
And she's so talented to where she should be selling out across the world. But because of how she has conducted herself in the past,
there is a scripture that says that your gifts will make a way or in high places for you. I'm paraphrasing.
I thought it was make room for you.
Right. Make room for you in high places. Bishop Oliphant said that, yeah, but it's your character that keeps you there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Sense.
Yeah. So, there's a whole lot of people who, you sit in a basketball locker room. You're the most talented dude in the world, but you're unreliable. You show up late.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after a while, it ain't worth the effort. It's like Draymond Green. After a while, you go like, dude, the benefits are no longer outweighing, the deficits that you bring to this equation.
Let me do this.
And I'm impatient
That's
anyway.
My Keith impersonation. Let me do this. I want to be the first one in the room to say happy birthday to Michelle Bryant.
I was going to do that. Let's do it because I want to share some. That's great. We're going to talk about Cordelia Michelle Bryant.
Did you just? Oh boy, yeah. Let's go to break.
That's the name that's on her birth certificate.
Okay.
yesterday. So happy birthday, Michelle. I was telling Debo and DJ off air. I said Michelle texted me this morning at 5:55 to report a theft.
That's old people time, isn't it?
I don't know if it's old people time. All I know is I texted her back like, "Why are you texting me at 5:55 in the morning?" She said, "Cause I'm up. You should be up." Wow. I said, "Okay, well, I'm up obviously because I'm responding to your text." But happy birthday, happy birthday, Michelle. Happy birthday,
happy born on date.
Yeah.
Shout out to Miss Denise Crumble. She said, "Happy birthday, Cordelia."
Oh, she gonna be mad at me.
Y'all using that name for
that's not y'all. I'm reporting what somebody said on YouTube.
And then
Miss Denise Crumble.
Then Mano's birthday is tomorrow.
Who?
Jermaine.
Okay. Right out.
Yeah, right out.
J-Man.
Tomorrow.
All right.
So
people, I didn't tell you, man.
A plethora of birthdays around here.
Yeah.
Either I'm getting older, y'all got a lot of frequency coming out your speakers. But when I was getting ready to introduce you all, I walked in front of the speaker, and man, it had my eardrums like.
You ain't recovered yet?
I'm recovered, but I just thought about it, where the vibrations.
Oh yeah,
yeah, man, y'all was pumping it.
Oh yeah, well, we didn't control the sound. That's the sound, man.
That was interesting. One of the observations, in terms of the Black Arts Fest, was that the way they did the stage, the way that the Miller Highlight Theater stage is set up at the Summerfest.
Yeah, I missed you. I was there.
I know. I saw the text, but by that time, I left. Because I sat through James. I didn't sit through James Fortune. It was actually pretty good. But what it was when you have the sound on the side, the sound person can't really hear it. Like if you have the sound and then the regular, which they didn't have set up, they were doing it on the side.
Yeah.
So there was some
difficult
complaints.
To do it from the side
because you can't hear it. And then they had where when Anthony McGahee came on, the band was louder than the choir. I mean, the band was hot. So they had to bring the band down to bring the choir up to balance it. But if you're sitting out there, you'll notice that right away, because the young lady who was sitting next to me, she said, "Did that sound like distortion to you?" I said, "Yeah, because they haven't really mixed the sound in terms of being able to bring." And I know the band wants to be heard, but the choir needs to be heard too. So how do you balance that? And so they were able to balance it. But when you're doing it on the side of the stage, it's very different than when you're sitting there midpoint, and that sound is coming out to you that you can hear. Man, this has been.
It was a hot day, and everybody was complaining except me.
It was hot,
and I said, one thing Black folks gonna do, we gonna complain, because had it been raining, people would have. Oh man,
had it been raining, wouldn't have been nobody there.
Right. It would have been some
complaints. I heard they had a good turnout.
It was fairly good. It wasn't what they were hoping for, but it was fairly good. It was fairly good. Because around, I should have stayed for 6 o'clock to see what the Divine Nine. But
we stayed for that.
Was it? That was pretty well attended, wasn't it?
It was straight. The people who won, they shouldn't have won.
Who was it? What?
It was the pink and green.
AKA won?
Yeah, they shouldn't have won.
Okay.
But I saw that the person who was announcing the winners, they had pink on too. So I'm like,
conspiracy with a cube.
It was one of those.
No, they probably they represented though. It was a lot of pink and green.
Now you have to be careful of what you wear if you're going to be announcing the winner.
No,
you should. If you should be wearing gang colors. If you
that other team, they was louder. The crowds, you know when you cheer for
it.
What color were they?
I want to say, was it black and white?
Blue and white. Was Sigmas male or female?
I can't remember. And this is women.
I know they had the female segments. I think all 9 could have been. I don't know about the iotas. You don't see a lot of iotas. That was the
obviously.
Last,
I don't know nothing about
last fraternity established. They were.
I don't know nothing about the sororities and the fraternities, but it was another group of women. Their sorority, they was louder. than
But it's not just the loud; it's also the stepping, right? When they do
but they judged it based off of who got the most love.
Did they do any stepping?
Yeah, they did all that.
Okay. Yeah, but it was a lot. When I was sitting there for James Fortune and Anthony McGahee, there was a lot of AKAs there. A lot of AKAs, a lot of pink and green.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. Man, you been watching the Olympics?
I haven't because I've been at work.
Let me respond to some. Why was Jokic the best in the world?
Jokic is undoubtedly, it's undeniable that he's the best player in the world.
Well, you did that, and I'm watching the game, and I'm going, is he watching? Did he see the end of the game?
It don't matter about them winning or losing. This Team USA team is supposed to have been, in Marvel terms, the Avengers.
Right.
Serbia, it was Jokic and Bogdanovic. That was it.
Oh, this dude Petrovic was killing them.
Either way, on paper,
he was killing them.
Either way, on paper,
yeah, but they won.
They wouldn't compare to barely. They wouldn't compare
barely.
Yeah, I know.
So if
I saw it,
if Jokic had the same amount of star power, they probably would have beat them easily.
Oh, like Australia?
They don't have star power. They just have NBA players.
Well, that's on the world level. That's star power. I think that is very difficult when you have that level of star power. Unlike a lot of these European teams and other national teams, they're playing together all year long.
Mm-hmm.
You put together basically an all-star team.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to be able to meld.
But these wasn't role players. These was Steph Curry, LeBron James, Joel Embiid.
White is a role player.
I don't even remember him getting much time.
He was on the floor. He played.
And down the stretch, like I said, I didn't watch the game. I was watching the play-by-play off of ESPN.com because I was at work.
I was watching it, and
I was at work.
What you call it?
Work. I was watching, and it was like, they're a better team. I think the Americans knew they were a better team, but should it have been that close? I mean, at one point, the Americans down by 17.
Right.
But this is the difference between when Americans put teams out there on the Olympic stage is, again, they're all-stars. So they're not used to playing international ball.
Mm-hmm.
And international ball, it is drive and kick. And look.
Well, international ball resembles college ball in a sense on defense. You could just have a guy just sit in the paint. He don't have to move for 3 seconds. So that hinders offensive scoring too.
Well, when I'm looking at it was, and look, tomorrow is not a gimme.
No.
They're playing France,
right? With
France,
2 7-footers.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Caller, thank you for your patience. You're on air.
Hi, I just wanted to say that it was Zeta Phi Beta sorority that are constitutionally bound to Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, and they were in blue and white.
Okay, thank you. Were you down there for it?
I was. I'm a Zeta.
Okay, all right. Zeta Phi
Thank
Beta.
You.
You're welcome.
No problem. Caller, thank you for your patience. You're on air.
Yeah, I would like to ask you a question. How do you feel about the issues that's going on in the inner city? Do you feel they are purposely being neglected? Since every time something happens dealing with Black folk, there's always an excuse not to do something, or they want to sweep it under the rug. But when it's time to jump in front of the camera, everybody got these big Kool-Aid peach smiles.
You asking me or Keith?
All of you. Or do you? A prime example.
Yeah, elaborate.
Okay, well, prime example. Let's say on 18th and Hadley. There's a house with a blue tarp that's been sitting like that for 6 months. The grass so tall it looked like the Everglades. Do you feel that what happened on Newberry in Maryland, or like with the reckless driving, you know, they say it takes 365 days, or Tony Braxton, 7 whole days, 7 whole nights. Do you think that would be able to happen in Whitefish Bay? Because, you know, when we're black, sometimes these politicians feel we are accustomed to it. But when you have a diverse society and they know they come with that money and they know they will vote you out quicker than you didn't roll them draws 2 days in a row, they move very quick.
I mean, I do. It's a number of issues. So it's like, you know, which one do you tackle first?
Well, they ain't tackling none of them. That's the thing.
Right. And so it goes to what do you think politicians should prioritize? And then if your ideology on you know what should be prioritized matches the people who are supposedly in power to, like, you know, put forth some change. I know that I have been seeing, like, you talking about a specific house, not getting it cut, but I have been seeing the street sweepers out more often than I have in the past. So I'm assuming that they have heard the many complaints about just how dirty the city have been, and then obviously we as individuals have to take the onus in individually picking up our own trash, making sure the grass is cut, things of that nature.
I agree with you about the accountability and keeping your neighborhood clean and not making excuses. Because I know before some black people who are old enough to know better said you should be happy picking up them chicken bones, and if you don't like it, you should move. I mean, we should make excuses for black people, Negro, sugar, honey, iced tea. But my question is, do you think these politicians would do that anywhere else?
Well, I think when you compare Whitefish Bay, that was what you used. The property values, and there's the.
I think property value in itself is a racist concept.
Okay, but the property values, because when you drop the money,
I do.
If I'm spending $500,000 for a house, I'm in a neighborhood where other people are spending $500,000 for a house. So the way that house is upkeep, that's an investment. If you're looking at properties, a lot of times when you look at, I would go out and I'm going to get the exact number, but more than 50% of people who live in the city of Milwaukee are probably renters. And if you look in economically distressed areas, people just walk away from the houses. So the city has to either take that house, raise that house, right? But now it's on the city, because people walk away from it. They will exploit folks to get all the rent they can get from it, and then bye-bye, see you later. So I think that you have that going on. And I say it, and people disagree with me, you don't wash or rent a car. And people say, well, you know, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying this is the reality. If it ain't my property, you can have the most raggedy house on the block. Look at the car in front of it. The car is going to be taken care of, right? Here's the difference. I don't own that house. I own this car. So the investment I'm going to put in the car is because I own the car. It's a different thing when you own a house.
I don't want to sound like an apologist for the politicians because, you know, I mean, Al, you asked a loaded question. It's so many problems that's going on within the city that, you know, like I said, it's about prioritizing. But let's just take, for instance, the speeding and stuff. I've seen a lot more speed bumps on these side streets and stuff, and you know, speed bumps is supposed to curb speeding. Obviously that hasn't changed anything, but that's like a step towards at least doing something to deter people from speeding so much. When it comes to you know, reckless driving, they put those to me it didn't make no sense to put those up, but obviously those big boulders or those blocks of stuff on the side of the streets to deter people. But now some people have saying that they've seen people run up against those and have some accidents, and when now they running up.
When they first came out, you're not seeing it as much now.
But I'm saying, but now the streets that don't have them, now they're doing it even more. You know what I mean? Well, and so
that's what crime does. It moves to an area that it is not under surveillance.
And then the last part.
Hold on, DJ. That traffic mitigation has made a difference. Mm-hmm. It really has made a difference. And people may or may not recognize the difference, but I used to travel regularly up and down 60th Street. And man, that was just like a dragway.
Taking your life in your own hands.
Not anymore. Not when you get up to Hampton. You do it at your own risk. Now there's gonna be people out there, no matter what you put out there, they driving fast. I'm sorry, go on, man.
Well, the reason why this stuff is out of control because they didn't start locking these people up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have all these. See, you should be throwing away the key.
But then we'll be talking about the prison industrial complex.
That's not our problem.
It is our problem because we pay for it, Al. We pay for it.
If you don't care about society should not care about you. I don't care if it's your mama. I don't care if it's these old hags or these young kids who better been swimming in condoms. If you don't care about society does not care about you. So since you don't care about society, this fetish they have for steel bars, silver toilets, and concrete walls, they can enjoy it for about a year and a half. And then our streets could be safe. Because if this was prior, this wouldn't be going on. Everybody would be crying, but the streets would be safe.
But you know what's interesting? I was listening to one of the issues. I was listening to Tavis Smiley last night, and he had Dr. Malveaux on. And they were talking about Kamala Harris and when she was DA in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And what she was trying to do was say, you know what? Let's look at things like restorative justice and things like that. And people thought, well, she's giving people a break. But the question becomes, I understand what Al is saying. Al has a very real sentiment that a lot of people feel, right? But I think we need to move with this with a certain deliberate contemplation, because in 1990, 91, 92, there were people in the African-American community saying lock up, not just drug dealers, but anybody who used crack, right? And so then what it set off was these laws that only seemed to be enforced in Black communities, which then led to people being locked up. You know, drug possession is not anything one should be looking at a life sentence for, right? But literally in some situations, especially in New York, certain narcotics, people are looking at life sentences for having drugs. I mean, I don't know. Should we be locking people up?
Mr. Parris?
Yes, sir.
I understand that some people have issues. Some people need to be locked up.
Right.
Sometimes you cannot give people 3 feet because they would take 362 miles to go to Mississippi. If you cannot conduct yourself as a human and these people choose to act like animals, maybe they need to be in a cage because it was affecting the wrong people. And here's the thing. Nobody is cutting no checks. And the worst thing is they wait till they get beat down by the devil to find Christ and say, now I am saved. And then they want to talk about forgiveness. The only reason they ask for forgiveness is because that so-called God they follow can't talk back. And that person who got trauma and PTSD have still took a loss. Lock them out.
All right, man.
I know that a part of this, I don't know if you heard of the broken window rule, you know, like where, you know,
New York City,
somebody, you know, just lays through a brick in the window. You go to the fullest extent of the crime or fullest extent of that punishment. But then we have to talk about who is that discretion going to be being given to? Because in the past, people that look like me and you, discretion was not a term that was handed out when those sentences came. Well, and so like when we get to the, you know, laying down steep consequences, we also have to take into context, is it going to be for everybody? And that answer is going to be no.
Yeah, I think broken windows, I'll come up with the guy's name after the break. But his whole concept was that
not cross the street,
but that justified stop and frisk.
Right.
And that's what he used to justify stop and frisk. Stop and frisk has been one of the greatest violations of constitutional rights. Four dudes standing on the corner just chilling, they have the right to assembly and peacefully assemble, and then you come and assume that they're up to no good. And based on stop and frisk, it has been effective in some people's minds in terms of letting the criminals know we're out here looking, but the vast majority of people got caught up in those drag nets weren't criminals. They're only. Shout out to Brother Nate Nuckett, the good folks there at the New Pitch Mortuary. Good morning, folks. Good morning. You're listening to Community Voice. We're taking a break. We'll be right back.
Watching the ships roll in. Somebody ought to hold somebody. And I watch them roll away again. Oh, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Now wait a minute, fellas.
Hey, man, is that you over there singing, DJ?
From New Orleans.
Huh?
Everybody know Otis.
But that ain't Otis.
No, I know the song.
Oh, you know the song. Okay. In any case, 860 WNOV, W293CX10. Neil, I have to apologize, man. 106.5 FM. Got DJ singing this morning. I don't know. This is something new. I will ask that you warn us if you're going to do that again.
Mike Policy.
Duly noted.
Mike Policy.
Duly noted.
Right. Young man in the background right there that we're listening to is a young man by the name of New Orleans Bo. And I am lucky enough to have him on the line with us this morning. Good morning, brother New Orleans Bo. How are you, sir?
Good morning, WNOV.
Good morning.
Say, man, I missed you this past year at the Granville Blues Festival, man. You must have been booked already, huh?
Yes, sir. Took off skyrocketing for us over here.
Right. Good, man. Listen, you're gonna be here in Milwaukee on tomorrow, and I always ask this question. I don't really have to ask you because I already know what to expect. I've seen you a couple times, and I know how you get out, man. So I'll just ask the question for those that don't necessarily know: what can we expect from New Orleans Bow on tomorrow at Clinton Rose Park?
I'm coming down to have a good time with the good people in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I always do, and you guys are fantastic. I love it, love it, love it.
So this will be a different venue for you, if you will. It will be outdoor in the park. And we had Ivan Singh on last week, and a lot of the guys that you work with out of the Chicago area. So I'm looking forward to and now, the guy don't stay on stage, Keith. He just it's like he can't do it. You see the video here?
Mm-hmm.
He can't stay on the stage. It's like he works best. He worked the room.
Okay.
So bring your lawn chairs, your coolers. Come on out and join New Orleans Bow. You got some new product out for us, man. You're gonna be bringing some of your material along with.
Yes. I'm dropping a new single. It's called I redid That Weight Is Hole in the Wall, got the license for that. Then I got another single coming out. It's called Good Woman.
And everybody want one of them. Right, DJ? Don't you want a good woman?
Absolutely. Got one.
Oh, she must be listening.
Yeah, I
Did
got
you hear
one.
him try to clean that up, Keith?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't cleaning up nothing.
He did it right.
A couple of weeks ago, you couldn't even call her name. Now you got one.
I still don't call her name.
Oh, okay.
She's still a good woman.
Yeah.
She's still a good woman, huh?
What are some of your influences, man? I mean, when you do your music, who really influences you?
Well, I'm really go back to the old schools like Johnny Taylor, B. King. My favorite, believe it or not, is Louis Armstrong.
Mm.
That's my ultimate favorite.
Now, I've often said, and I tell folks all the time, as I was just telling a couple guys the other night, you put me in the mind of an Ollie Woodson, man. With your style and your range and, the different things that I hear you do with your voice, man. And, Ollie was no slouch, man. So certainly I'm putting you up there, brother.
That's one great compliment. Thank you.
You've never heard that before, man?
Well, I've heard compliments, but that was a good one.
Yeah, but see, a lot of people can't just up and acknowledge who Ollie Woodson even was, man. I mean, I know we got some music buffs in the room, like Keith knows. This other guy over here, he don't know what I'm talking about.
Hip hop and R&B.
He said hip hop and R&B. No, that's not what that is.
You
remember the Temptations?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
So I'm
he talking to me.
this
He
young
trying to be
whippersnapper
funny.
in the
He trying to
studio.
be funny.
No. I'm trying to give you treat her like a lady. Now I'm the kind of guy. That's who Ollie Woodson is on that tune right there.
Was that Ollie?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's one of the great stepping tunes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's But what
That's
part was that?
That's what he's part. That's what
Who
he
did
said.
who did Ollie replace?
It would have had to have been Dennis, wouldn't it?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Ollie replace Dennis?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been Dennis that he replaced.
And Dennis replaced David.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
That was the interesting thing about how the Temptations.
Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
That was one great movie.
Wasn't that a great movie, man?
It really, really was.
Oh my God! And comparable to that was really the Five Heartbeats. I
That's
thought,
my other movie.
yeah, in terms of, yeah,
that
was a good one, and that was the Dales.
Yes, their story.
Yeah.
Still, my favorite part is what's my office hours?
Oh, Big Red stole the movie.
9 to 5. Eleanor, if there's anything I can do, Eleanor. Lord have mercy.
And that one little fake tear.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But but it's interesting that that Debo gives you that compliment of Ollie. Were you listening to the Temptations? Obviously, back in the day, who was it in that group that you really could go like, man, I wish I could not wish, but I like that in that group.
Eddie Kendricks was a bad man too.
Eddie.
The thing about David Ruffin, his range. When he did that falsetto,
Mhm.
he was like, man.
Listen, man, this guy is being really, really modest.
Okay.
I watched him take the stage at this was his first time playing, and he did 1.5 songs from the stage. After that, it was
Never
over.
got back on.
He never got back to the stage. In fact, he signed off from in the audience.
Well,
Thank you so much,
love
Milwaukee.
the people.
I'll see y'all later. I'll be over here signing. Never made it back to the stage.
So what is that? Is that like you like the connection with the audience on that level? Is that showing love and respect for the audience? What created that
I'm
approach?
gonna tell you something my grandfather told me. He said, "You're gonna be a singer or you're gonna be an entertainer." I chose entertaining.
Okay.
I like to engage with the people. I like them to feel what I'm feeling, whatever comes out my mouth.
Background in the church?
Very much so.
There you go. Right there.
Oh yeah.
I'm almost a
In fact,
firm
he was
believer
one
if
of the
you
members
didn't.
of the Zion Harmonizers.
I was getting ready to say quartets. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm almost inclined to believe if you don't start singing in the church, you don't know how to sing.
You won't. But what was the name of the
I'll tell
group
you what,
again?
you're gonna get your feeling from there. I'll tell you that.
That's it.
What was the name of that group though? The Divine
Harmonize.
Divine.
Harmonizers?
Oh, the Zion.
Zion
Harmonizers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, where do you originate from? Is it really that you're from New Orleans?
Yes, sir. I was born and raised Charity Hospital, Walter Cohen Senior High School.
So when was obviously what about the Zydeco music that New Orleans
Very
is famous
special. Very special. It's something to see.
for? Do
and
you
hear.
incorporate that into your performances?
No, I don't. I mostly do a lot of stuff to get people moving, dancing,
Okay.
and stuff like that.
Now Louis Armstrong makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense because
If I'm not mistaken, didn't I hear you do a Louis piece?
Yes, I did. And I'm gonna bring it to Milwaukee.
Yeah, you I remember you tore that one up, man.
I will bring it to Milwaukee, Rose Park.
So we got the full snap, man, or what are we doing tomorrow?
Well, we're gonna do a little Motown. We're gonna do some blues. We might even put a little country in there.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Talking about some country now. We can do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give up all the secrets, but I'm ready. I'm ready for Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
All right. Well, we are certainly ready for you as well, man. We're not gonna hold you up all morning long. I heard it's your day off around there, so we're gonna let you get a little rest so you can rest up and get in here as early as you need to on tomorrow and give us one heck of a show, man. So we appreciate you taking time out of your day to hang out with us for just a little while. Inside, what's the name of the show again? Free Flow Friday
on Community Voice.
Inside Community Voice.
Yes,
with a young man by the name of Keith Parris. You might have seen or heard him. He interviews the vice president and stuff like that, and then some guy named DJ who doesn't give out passes on Friday. So
yeah, Friday's a tough day for passes around.
Yeah, it's rough, really, really rough. But we appreciate you once again, man. Anything you'd like to say in parting to the listeners here in Milwaukee?
Well, I'm coming at you, and I hope you meet me there. And I love WNOV 86. Let's go.
All right. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Well, we're back. Go ahead, Keith.
Let me do this. You're talking about the broken window policing policy. A quick overview is broken window policing is a policing strategy based on the broken window theory of criminology, which suggests that visible signs of crime and disorder can lead to more serious crime. The theory uses the analogy of a broken window that encourages others to break to suggest that the disorder is in a community. Let's just read this again. The theory uses the analogy of a broken window that encourages others to break to suggest that disorder in a community can lead to more serious crime. Mm-hmm. It as a sociological evaluation or critique of what might be happening, but is this the proper response? And I would say no.
It can lead. I was saying, what Al was asking for could lead to something of this magnitude. And
Right.
then if you go deeper into that theory, the hefty penalties once someone was cited or arrested was very stiff. And when we just look at history and the history of Black people and the criminal justice system, criminal justice system. Yeah, see, gotta listen.
You gotta say it.
No, I said, you're a little up in age.
Criminous.
You're a little age.
But no, because I think
those penalties will be very stiff on people that look like me and you.
But
and
I
we
think
need stiff penalties. But
Yeah.
I'm saying, then what will come about that is, well, they ain't doing them like this, and then
let
we
me
will
ask you-
start
let
to.
me ask you a question. You won't be able to even speak to this, and it's no fault of your own. It's because of your age that you won't be able to speak to it. But Keith can certainly attest to this. Do you think Chief Breyer gave a damn about anything you talking about right now? They policed how they policed,
Right.
and this was a much better city then.
How long ago was that?
But it was hope. But when you say it's a
How
much
long ago was that?
Better in the sense of crime wise.
yeah, but in terms
How long ago was
that?
that?
was in the 60s. Well,
The
let's
60s.
not.
We talking about the
Wait a minute,
60s.
man. Can we just kind of have a? Because I know the point he's making. The point he's making is that it seems safer. It was, but we didn't have the level of poverty in Milwaukee in 1966 and 67 and 68. Milwaukee had the largest Black middle class in the country.
Well, that's because of your Towers, your Bradley,
Right.
your Allen Bradley's, your A.L.
Poverty
Smiths.
drives a lot of this behavior, whether people want, well, I was poor, but your poor might have been different than some of the poor that people are experiencing today. And then when the Black community expanded, it didn't expand its middle class. In the Black community, it expanded the people who were poor. And I'm just saying, whether people, and it's not a justification, it just is, it's a cause. When you look at high poverty areas, whether it's Black, white, or Hispanic, there's going to be crime. And it's going to be certain types of crime, right? So, yeah, and so the whole control thing. And then the other thing about there was, you talking about control. I mean, Brian, you didn't go into certain neighborhoods. They wouldn't even let Black officers patrol the South Side.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how segregated and how racist the system.
And I didn't bring it up to say that it was right, but what I am saying is we can't keep coddling and these little slap on the hands. And then, there's certain offenses you call the police for now. I called one time, they stole my car. They told me you got to come in and file. I just told you they took my car.
Yeah, drive on in.
You got to come in and file a report. Really?
But when you compare that, that's a property crime, and it's a low level property crime.
Man, I'm thinking y'all talking about Breyer like he was in the 90s or the 80s.
No.
Y'all talking about the 60s.
Man.
That's
Breyer was in the
50
70s.
years ago, man.
But he was in the 70s.
He was doing a comparison
So
in terms of
the
city.
issues that are going on now.
Man,
And the issues that went on
every
in the
police chief
60s
after
and
him,
the 50s.
every police
It's
chief
not
after
the
him, they
same.
got softer and
Even-
softer and softer.
Even what Keith just talked about, the middle class, you forward that to 2024, there are conversations that there is no such thing as the middle class.
There is a middle class.
The talk is that there is the middle class is dwindling down. When you're talking about poverty was different then until the cost of gas. Just the mere cost of gas was different. And so
Yeah, but it also
when
wasn't
you're
as many
talking about-
vehicles on the street either.
Right. And so when you're talking about somebody that implemented something 50 years ago, and to say that could be something that will adapt some change now,
You never
I
heard,
think
you
that
never,
we
you never,
I think that that's
you never heard me
outdated.
say that. You never heard me say that.
Y'all
All I
was just
said
talking
was-
about
No,
it
he
was
making
a
a
safer
comparison.
city.
It was a safer city,
But
but we
look
had different dynamics.
right. That's
And
what I'm
I'm
talking
just
about.
acknowledging that. But when you look at that broken window policy, I just thought about this. If we would have, and they did have stop and frisk here too under the last white chief we had, Flint. We did have, because he's from the East, right? He's from Boston.
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem.
I thought it was Baltimore.
No, he's from Boston. Here's the problem. Flynn, Irish. But here's the problem. You're on paper, right? You got a PO. Based on stop and frisk, you've had a police contact, whether you did anything or not. That's reported to your PO because you had a police contact. And you weren't doing anything wrong, right?
Not depending on your PO.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is it counts as when they're sitting down taking that data, that information, that's a contact, right?
Right.
You see, and we used to see it here in Milwaukee. They might stop a group of kids and go, and you see the cop writing down all their information. Now you've had a contact. Okay. I understand Debo's sentiment is where a lot of people feel. We go like, we need to be tougher. But we can be tougher, but it's not going to stop the problem. I know people don't want to hear that.
I mean, these rules are meant to be deterrents, but a lot of this stuff aren't deterrents.
Like the death penalty.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna kill you,
right?
Here's the problem. And the criminals are getting younger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
Because
get
there were
younger.
some rogues, young.
Yeah, but
no, I knew some real thuggish.
Yeah, but you
slow
knew
down,
a few.
right? Because there wasn't that many of us.
But the dynamics in the household and just in the community was different then than it is now, and it has progressively changed.
They stole cars when you were coming.
Oh, they
up.
sure did steal cars.
But how many
cars.
13 and 14-year-old girls was stealing?
That was different for
cars
girls. Period.
Girls. I'm just saying this is what we deal with today.
Right. Well, that just shows that that's part of the progress. I put that women have made, where now women are doing some of the same behavior that was reserved for men. So yeah, we're going to see more girls getting out doing things just because the thing where we used to have these girls and we would really coddle the girls and protect the girls, so part of that is just these changes in dynamics. I just think we should be careful of how we talk about the problem, because some people are going to latch on to what we say, especially the emotional part of it, and then you get the crime bill,
right?
And so,
and what I'm saying is the discretion or lack thereof when it comes to consequences, when compared from people of color, Black folks, to other folks, is going to be extremely different. And then we're going to be complaining about this was too tough, and on the other side, that was too lenient. I mean, and I only say that because history has shown us that our consequences are much stiffer than those that do not look like us.
So you have a judge who
justifies
looks like, and that was the guy out at Stanford, the swimmer who raped a woman,
right?
And the judge saw his potential. He wouldn't see DJ's potential, even though DJ might have been a student.
I don't want him to miss his college years.
Right. I mean,
that's what he said.
It's
the
just,
judge.
And then you go like, wow, but if it's DJ, and that's what gets
I'm
us,
an animal.
That's what gets us back to Devontae Mitchell. I mean, again, if it was anything else, they charged that kid, that 14-year-old kid 15-year-old kid in the stolen car hits the motorcyclist. They charged him in 3 days. And again, I don't know if the motorcyclist was drunk, but they charged him in 3 days. It took you a month, and you got video, and the video in and of itself would say something got to be charged.
And all the cast of characters. It's not like they were looking for people.
Right.
You knew who these people were.
Your point is right on point. That it is, when you hear Donald Trump run around here talking about that there's two justice systems. Yeah, the one that lets you still be out walking around after being convicted for 34 felonies. Because trust me, I don't know if me and DJ are on the bricks in that situation.
Right.
So yeah, it really is. And justice is blind to the point I think she peaks.
And we all are advocates for a safer city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there comes a point to where we have to review history in order to try to come up with some solutions for the present and the future. And providing stiffer penalties, it sounds good, and a slap on the wrist should not be handed out by no stretch of the imagination when heinous acts of crimes are committed. But what about those smaller crimes when those are committed? That that handing out of those consequences ain't gonna be as light as that crime.
Yeah, and I know, but now we start talking about armed robbery, that's a different animal.
Right.
That's a different animal than stealing a car.
Right.
And people, oh no, no, this is a different animal. You
but now, when you steal a car and you get into an accident,
right, you cause damage.
Now, on one hand, what about that person who don't got insurance that just got their car stolen? Well, you should have had insurance, but you still are but even when you don't have insurance, you're still inconvenienced by
Nelly did have insurance
by stealing.
Did you read that?
By getting your car stolen.
Did you hear Nelly didn't have insurance?
Who?
Nelly just got pulled off. This dude,
the rapper.
Yeah, and he had ecstasy this time. The time before, what did he have? He had was it meth? He liked to get high. That's a whole nother world.
And
I think they went into his car, and I think they found the drugs in the car. So I think he's
too old to not have insurance. He almost 50.
Yeah,
if he not 50 already.
And he's too successful not to have a drug guy. You know who your drug guy is? Okay, so now you part of the entourage, DJ.
Just because we know that you had a lot of money don't make you successful, but I get what you said.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, why are you driving?
Right.
I would just be like, you don't have to drunk drive. You can get somebody to drive for you. So anyway, want to do a call? We want to break.
Take the call.
Okay. Hey, caller, welcome to the program.
You're on there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And I want to say happy birthday to Michelle.
Thank you.
Yes, and you're welcome. This is Kathy. I got to go along with what the young Devo had to say, because we're saying watch the crime bill and charging these kids for robbery and way they drive cars and stuff. Well, let's put it like this here. We'll go easy on them because we don't want nothing to happen to them, and they have a life too. I'm going to tell you what kind of life they have. When they hit your kid, your nephew, your godkids, your mother, your father, and they die, yeah, we still won't do anything because they're young people. Oh, we won't do that to them. Oh, what would happen to their future? Well, I'm going to tell you what the future looks like. You drop out of high school, you've been in there but twice in 1 year, you're going to be looking at prison. So what we need to do is work and see if they can do this. We need a boot camp, maybe, if you don't want to put them in jail, a boot camp and for educating these young people in life. They go to high school, do boot camp, they can do programs, they learn what life is all about. What you got to do is reprogram them like a baby. They weren't raised right, or if they were raised right, the people, if there's something wrong with the family unit, if there's nothing wrong with the family unit, there is. It's the environment a lot of these people come from, okay? So when you're not going to school, and I know several people, family kids, only been in school the last 3 or 4 days of the whole year of 2024, and they ain't going back this year. So they're going to get passed if they go back, and they're going to graduate not knowing anything, okay? So it's unfortunate, but you go up and kill somebody else's family, and then we won't make the crime tougher for them because they're young people. I'm not comparing what Kamala did in San Francisco. I like what she did in San Francisco. Okay, I like it. I don't care what they did. And if the people are still in jail from San Francisco from back then, that was the law back then. I don't care what nobody said about no weed or whatever they took back then. That was the law. You broke the law back then. So I don't care if they'll ever let them out. That's their world.
You're that absolute? You're that absolute?
You know, I'm going to tell you why I'm that absolute. You tell me when somebody comes around on different parts of the city here and breaking out windows and looking for guns in them, what is that all about? But we're not supposed to have a hard bill on anything? But what if that was your family? Okay, you don't have a right to kill people and say we're going to go soft on people. You know, the crime bill back in the 90s was bad. Everybody looking for something to be done. I live on the east side. They're tearing up cars east side, north side, west side. And so I'm supposed to let my insurance go up. I can't hardly afford it. I got to have all my stuff go up. I got to work a second job just to hustle on a window being broke out twice in 1 week, okay?
The crime bill wasn't just about people who was getting killed, though. It was a number of crimes that were under that.
Primarily drug crimes.
Right. And I don't care about drug crimes. I'm against drugs. So what? So people wanted something done back then. And so when they did something, now people trying to say 20 years later that was wrong. Well, it was wrong for them to do the drug
because of the damage that it did to it did greater damage than the cure was worse than the illness. Well, because America doesn't want to deal with the real issues, which is I'm sorry.
Back in the 90s.
The real issues was that a lot of this was driven. Look, dudes who were selling drugs and women who were selling drugs in the 90s were selling drugs because that's how they were eating. Okay. And so the way that we handle drug dealers, if they're black, is very different. Do you know that under that crack law that was part of the crime bill, not one white person was convicted under the crack provisions of the crime bill? Not one white person. But wait a minute, Kathy. But white people use crack. White people use crack.
They always treated us different.
Okay, but don't. We can't justify it. We can't justify it throwing the baby out with the bathwater. America needs to deal.
America needs to learn how to vote for people who look like them too, and need to pull themselves.
No, we need to have policies that do not create the environment that creates the crime, and nobody wants to pay for that. So it's a lot easier to just say lock them up. That's easier to deal with. Okay, we don't want to deal with the systemic issues that created it in the first place.
Out of his own pocket and sue the attorneys and the judges that put black people in jail and not white people in jail. We'll hire somebody. Okay, but you're not going to find them out there like that. No one's going to try to go to court and try to fight against those different laws and stuff because no one's going to support them.
When we make a crime race-based, that then gets into race-based policing. Mm-hmm. There are kids stealing cars and joyriding out in rural areas, and they're probably just as upset about it there. When we talk about it, we talk about it from a black lens.
In a rural area, and you got different judges and different people charging people.
But we talk about things from
programs.
What I get frustrated with is the whole pejorative, how we will sit up and go like, it's black kids. It's a kid. Because once you racialize it,
I didn't use the black at all.
Once you racialize it, then you get racialized policing, you get racialized justice. So then we don't get the mitigating, or we should try to mitigate, or we should try to find out what's going on. There's some kids out there who obviously who have psychological issues. They're not going to say we need to send them to a psychologist. No, lock them up.
In rural areas, they don't have enough people in rural areas to help out with that. And they said even in the prisons, they don't have enough therapists in there. There's not enough psychiatrists and social workers going to school for their county. It's expensive, okay? But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to be funny, Keith. Let it happen to your family. At one point, what else can you do?
But you can't keep putting programs out here. Isn't that the question that Bernard Shaw? Bernard Shaw.
Boot camp. A boot camp for criminal teens. Okay.
But some of those kids have really changed. Some of those kids have changed.
Well, even a boot camp, you don't have to put them in jail, but a boot camp is very nice. You know why? Because we're working with them and they won't have a criminal record. We need to come up with that's just a suggestion. A boot camp to work with them on life and let them know what they can have and goals they can have. They can try different things in a boot camp: music, sports, reading, and all that, and challenge the brain and work with them. Let them know there's a better way.
Come back into this environment, they could fall right back into recidivism.
Well, they're gonna fall back in if they go to jail. I'm gonna see them. What are you supposed to do? Not lock them up?
Depends.
No, lock them up.
All right.
Have a boot camp from a program. Work on a program.
Recidivism isn't necessarily a failure, though.
Huh? I'm saying they're trying to support the person, try to help them out. If we can't put them in jail, help them out.
I said recidivism isn't necessarily a failure, though.
No, it's not. It's not. But you can't keep doing what we're doing now. Get a boot camp. Work with them because the parents are not working with them. Work with the parents. Ask the parents of a 14-year-old kid. Bring them on the radio. What do we need to help you? Help yourself.
All right. Thanks, Kathy. We got to go to break.
Sure.
We will be right back.
And caller, we see you.
Hello, Milwaukee. I'm Clarence P. Nicholas, president of the Milwaukee branch NAACP. Please join me the second Monday of every month at 10 a.m. on the Community Voice, hosted by Keith Parris. I will discuss what's been happening as well as the upcoming celebration of the 100th anniversary of the Milwaukee branch NAACP in October.
When your child has an asthma attack, it's terrifying. You grab the inhaler as fast as you can. My son Khalil, he can't live without his inhaler, but they're expensive. The big drug companies charge families like ours $600 a month. And you know what they actually cost to make? $5. Just $5. That's why Senator Tammy Baldwin launched an investigation to crack down on those companies. And you know what? Tammy Baldwin got 3 of the biggest drug companies to lower the price of inhalers to no more than $35 a month. Tammy Baldwin, that's big savings for my family and for a lot of families. We're breathing a lot easier. There are politicians who do a lot of talking, but Tammy Baldwin, she delivers.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I'm running for Senate, and I approve this message. I don't work for the drug companies. I work for you. Paid for by Tammy Baldwin for Senate.
It's time for the grooviest event of the summer at the Wisconsin State Fair. You'll be feeling good at the Wisconsin State Fair, presented by U.S. Cellular, August 1st through the 11th.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Hi, this is Spencer Coggs, and I want to tell you about my friend, Senator Dora Drake. Senator Dora Drake is working to ensure that there are real consequences for reckless driving, not just a slap on the wrist. Senator Dora Drake expanded victim protective services to help those impacted by crime. And Senator Dora Drake will strengthen gun background checks and red flag laws to keep guns out of the hands of criminals. Join me in supporting your Senator Dora Drake in the Democratic primary August 13th. Paid for by friends of Dora Drake.
Nick Avani is the only place you need to shop for fashionable menswear inside the Mayfair Mall. Nick Avani is having a super summer blowout sale. All suits, sport coats, and blazers, hats, and shoes. Everything in the store is 50% off. Now, there are some exclusions. Okay, let me say that again, so I'm certain that you understood, right? Nick Avani's is having a super summer blowout sale on all suits, sport coats, blazers, hats, shoes. Everything in the store is 50% off, keeping in mind there are some exclusions. So what are you waiting for? Come on, head on down to Nick Avani's today. Oh, by the way, they still have the $100 hookup. Men 50 plus sizes, the hookup is just $125. Nick Avani's in the Mayfair Mall.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice Caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, you're on there.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
First of all, I want to thank Kathy because she hit me to something. I don't know if that was on one of you guys' shows or if it was on the other radio station. But those 2 filling stations on 27th and Capitol Drive, I will never, ever go in there and shop again. They come into our community. We already pay high prices in there. My grandson had to go to the bathroom the other day when we went in there. I go get my lottery tickets from there. We don't have a bathroom. Take him across the street to McDonald's. So I said, okay, I ain't coming here no more spending my money with y'all. And I'm calling the city because you're supposed to have a working bathroom. I learned that from Dad.
Right.
Went across the street to the other one. Same thing. So I started complaining. All the black people walked out. You're right, man, you're right. So I called order Mr. Jackson. We've been on him since he's been in office. They're taking care of every problem that we. So kudos to Mr. Jackson and his people. He called me the other day, right, Mr. Lawson, it's an ordinance. We're going to send the people over there. So thank you, Kathy, for that. You know, that's messed up that they come into our community. We spending our hard-earned money over there, and then nobody can go to the bathroom. Now, I probably can understand probably some of the issues that they may face, but if you're going to make money, that's part of the chances that you take, correct?
Right. Cost of doing business.
Right. So thank you, Kathy, for that. Now, Keith, me and you used to go back and forth on this stuff. I do think you're a little bit too soft when it comes to these issues. And I don't think to change your mind till it hits your door, which I hope never, ever happens, that it ever touches your door. I think you have a big eye-opening experience. Now, DJ's correct, and we all know this. Yeah, we get handled different. Nobody can argue that. We do get handled different. But what did we say the other day? What do we talk about? How many people go when it's time for these judges to run for office? They go down there and vote for these judges. And what did you, Keith, say? Who is going to affect the most?
Us.
Right. But how many of us go down there when it's time for these judges to get elected or even get up for vote?
But we don't. But these judges don't even be running against anybody. They be running unopposed.
DJ, whose fault is that?
That's whoever wants to be a judge. If
No,
so
it's just like anything
it's
else.
it's the same thing that y'all talk about with the Biden and if this person is running unopposed, then their backers are going to vote for them anyway.
When people think that I start talking a little bit because y'all over talk people, y'all don't let get a chance to get it out their mouth before y'all over start talking.
Well, come on, George.
You know, this was one of the things that with all you radio talkers, y'all don't want to learn, but y'all think y'all know everything.
No, you don't. You never listen. And all I said was these people run unopposed, and now you just going off on a tangent. So get to your point.
Okay, let me finish then. Okay, cool, thanks. And so I think that if we got out and you're right, DJ, because we don't put the people up there. So if we don't put anybody up to run against them, of course they're gonna run up unopposed, correct?
Yeah. But George,
that's what I'm saying, DJ. When you say that stuff, DJ, I understand. I'm 66 years old, DJ. I've been on this planet a long time. So sometimes, I'm not saying that you young people don't know stuff. We learn from y'all too. But DJ, when you've been out here in this world a long time, we can tell y'all stuff that y'all don't have a clue. Just like they was trying to tell you about Breyer. It was a safer city. And now we done let the broken window thing came under, what was the black chief's name? Help me out, Don.
That wasn't Jones. I thought that was done under Flynn.
The broken window was under Jones. He started that.
I was talking about people in New York, but
George,
so what I ask you all the time, Keith, what you think should be done?
I think,
and you always say, George.
I think you have to. I think it's justice, and you know what? It's never going to be for anybody who's lost a loved one to violence. There will never be enough justice because you'll never bring that person back. I'm clear on that. So no one is trying to say, oh, it's okay. What I'm saying, though, is that justice requires just that, to be just. And then, there's a lot of emotions that get in. Of course, you just lost a loved one. There's a whole lot of emotions there. I'm not minimizing that. I'm not saying that the behavior of the person is okay. All I'm saying is that if we want a just system, then we want it just, right? And so sometimes we talked about, because it was someone called in and made a good point when the woman was talking about her sons, and somebody called in and said, hey, did you ever think about those victims of your son's crime, right? So no, I'm clear on that, but I'm just saying, but then when we look at the overall big picture, we still find that this justice system is not just to people of color.
And we wasn't talking about the serious, heinous crime
at all.
We clearly understand that if you do a serious, heinous crime, that punishment should be stiff. We're just talking about the effects of beginning to label all of these crimes as giving them stiff penalties, because those smaller crimes are going to be given a stiffer penalty for people that look like us versus people that don't look like us. If you kill somebody, you're supposed to get the death penalty. You're supposed to get life in prison. That's not the issue. The issue is when someone jaywalks and now they get a very hefty ticket, and they can't pay that. And now that leads to other issues. That's what we were talking about. Not the serious stuff.
What's a hefty ticket on walking deep though? It's a minimum ticket, DJ.
No, but it's to that person's discretion. You could give.
You mean an officer? It's to their discretion.
You can give.
I agree with you on that.
And I said earlier that the discretion isn't given to us as a favorable thing than it is to others. And so when we do talk about these stiff penalties, obviously what you're talking about, George, we understand that and we've never talked against that. But as far as the crime bill, we saw the effects of that. And that wasn't just for, people who killed people. That was for drugs, that was for anything else that was considered a crime. And people that looked like us was given stiffer penalties.
Yeah, you're right about that, but we had to do something, DJ. People were losing their lives during that time.
But that didn't stop any of that, though, George.
It didn't.
It didn't stop any of that. It was it had.
So what were we supposed to do, Keith? I always ask you that, Keith. What were we supposed to do?
Try to address the problems that's causing the need for people, and we're not talking about. And again, let's take drug users out of it. Why are we even criminalizing drug use? So that's a whole different piece of it. I'm sorry.
Because here's the thing that always, when it came to these opioids, we had a whole different outlook versus people that was using crack. Correct?
No, not we.
No, he said in the country.
No, I mean as a population.
Oh, okay.
But you know what?
That's what I'm saying about you, DJ.
You know what? Yeah, they reacted, didn't they? No, I think, but the difference is, and remember, I was saying this either to Kathy or I was saying this to Al. The danger in racializing certain behavior means that now you're going to get a racialized approach to what would be behavior. Drug use, drug abuse, that's a whole totally different thing. So what happened was there were people young men who might walk around with 5 bags of rocks in their pocket, right? And you had another dude, again, we had the white, this dude, I don't know what he was, a treasurer or something for the county, and he would use crack on dates. And when he got busted, they didn't charge him as a drug dealer. They charged him as somebody in possession of crack. And that whole intent to distribute, intent to distribute is then where they will get you. And again, a lot of these people, and this is the part of it that America didn't want to face, when you're looking at the drug dealers, let's say particularly in inner city areas, that was financial survival. Now, we would say you should be able to find another way of making money, but what's the difference between them and Big Pharma, who was pumping all those opioids into West Virginia and Ohio and Kentucky? What's the difference? Well, they're young, black, and poor. These dudes, is it the Slacker family? They had money. And they caused so much carnage in this country, more than these crack dealers did in the 90s.
Keith, I watched the documentary or the movie about them, and you're right, Keith. I'm not just being on you about it. I'm just saying we got to come up with something. And that's why I brought up voting. We have to get out and vote.
Right.
We got to get out there and do our civic duty, because if not, it's going to keep on happening where we get fair and balanced. Like Lena. I bet if somebody came before Lena's court, she's going to be fair. Now, don't you think she would be fair and balanced?
I don't know. I'm hoping she would be. Yeah, no, I'm saying I'm hoping she would be.
Okay.
I don't have any reason to believe that she wouldn't be.
And let me just say this last thing, Keith, if I'm not mistaken. And I feel for that 14-year-old boy, but he killed somebody. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't that a stolen car?
And he had a rap sheet as long as I am.
And wasn't there armed robbery behind that too?
Yeah, he had a lot going on, and so the crime, the question of one, how could you be 15 years old and be able to get away with all this crime, basically be charged with all of that, is a problem.
That's what Kathy was trying. So what's going to determine? You got to scare them some kind of way, Keith, to try and maybe change their behavior.
Oh, trust me, he hit a white motorcyclist. He's gonna get full time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, but see, what could we have done before that, prior to maybe where that didn't happen? And you're right, Keith. We pour all this money into locking them up. Why can't that money be put on the front end? Because it costs a lot of money to lock somebody up, correct?
Yep.
Why can't we take that money? And that's what I'm saying also with voting, Keith. Let me go, because DJ, right, I'm starting to ram. So thank you. I just want to get
I appreciate your comments.
All right, God bless y'all.
All right. And I just, someone reminded me that early voting ends tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So you have up to Saturday if you want to early vote. You have up to the 13th to get your ballot in. You have a mail-in ballot. So early voting ends tomorrow. There is the 60th and Capitol location to early vote. So people, if you really want to, you need to be involved in this. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning. You on air?
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Keith Parris.
JT.
Hey. Good morning, DJ.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you doing, young man?
All right, and yourself?
I'm still hanging in there. And Mr. Devo?
He out right now.
What about that other person that I always mess up with?
Harvey.
Harvey. I know I always pick on Harvey, right?
Yeah, he just gave you a salute.
Okay, tell Harvey I said good morning. Hey, Keith.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir. I appreciate your subject this morning, and thank you for that, sir, because you was right on time. Like I said, when I resonate with you, sir, excuse me, who am I, right? But Mr. Keith Parris, I want to thank you for being right on time. And I want to say to everybody else, DJ, Mr. Depot, everybody, the callers, everybody, that was right on time. But you know what, Keith?
Sir.
You know why I feel more threatening is that Project 2025.
Yes.
So excuse me for mentioning that and getting off the subject. But that Project 2025, the Nazis / Teacup Clan Republican Party planted that after, I want to say Reagan, maybe in 1980s. They've been working on Project 2025 since that time. And that's more of a danger because if we let that criminal Donald Trump become president again, that want to be a dictator again, guess what? Everything everybody's talking about this morning, that's going to go to the side. Because, hey, fairness, justice, being fair and all that kind of stuff, once he become a dictator, that's going to fall to the side. So I just want to say, I did not read those 900 pages, Keith, that they had written about Project 2025, but I heard enough of it to know that what they're trying to do is send us back to, I don't know, like you said, pre-slavery or something like that. I don't know.
Oh man, pre-slavery would be pretty good.
Keith, if y'all,
get us back to pre-slavery.
Make it quick, because I know your time is going out. But sir, what's your opinion about 2020 Project 2025, DJ? And Keith, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I was hoping.
Have a good day.
I know it's going to happen. Where we'll really have some folks on. We'll do a deep dive into it. Project 2025 is disturbing, but there is another 180-page document that actually has the operational plan that they would then implement. When you look at Project 2025, they say it's aspirational, but they have one that is what is the word? Applicable, that they would like to put into place if they assume power.
What's the name of that?
I can't think. It's I would pull it up. The guy who did it, and they haven't released it. They haven't released it because to the public. I guess it's the people who know, but they haven't released it.
Caller, thank you for your patience.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, brother. Assalamu alaikum to you all.
Alaikum salam.
Yes, sir. Listening and talking about, I think like the young people or like justice. That was the word, right, Mr. Parris? Right. To stay on point. Is it actually justice or just us? 10, 10, 15, right? Justice or else. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said about Caucasian people, and he used an onion as an example, and how the layers will be peeled back concerning their civility with regard to their interaction with us. That it would become more brutal and more intense, I think, like a hurricane. And when we do not address the essence as to why our people are manifesting malfunction. You all are talking about Project 2025. What about Project 1555? Or what about Project the last 6,000 years? What about those projects? What about Project 400 and I think 50 years, I think it is by now? What about those projects that have been exacted and executed on us? these people use the periodic table of elements, chemistry, to cast spells on us as a people. And then they expect you to perform above board when you lack a basic understanding of mostly everything. Doesn't the scripture say that my people perish for the lack of knowledge? A lot of us have knowledge, lest ye be learned by lesson, or lest ye be learned by experience, and by experience by far is the best teacher. Some of us have that experience, literal knowledge where we've gone through. I've stood next to people and saw their brains get blown out. I've come out of a club when I was a youngster singing in clubs with the group that I used to sing with a long time ago, and there were people choking on their blood by the cars we were getting into. I've been going or burying my friend since I was 13 years old. So, I mean, I know about how it is out there on them streets. And I've had friends, and I have friends who are incarcerated at this very moment. And I understand what got them there. But I always knew that they did not have a requisite knowledge. That whereas if they did have that requisite knowledge concerning of themselves, that they probably would have had the ability to avert some things as I was able to. And I did get caught up in juvie hall at the House of Correction, but that's as far as it went. I was always a misdemeanor criminal. I never graduated. My friends went to the state pen, some of them, but some of my other friends and some that I met, we went to Penn State, the university. You dig what I'm saying? To make a distinction. So when we get so abrasive and cruel about the application of injustice, we must understand that we have been under a hand of injustice since we've been here. Thank
you.
I agree with that. You're listening to Community Voice. We're up on the last break of the program. We'll be right back.
Join the Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce every third Thursday at 10 a.m. inside Community Voice.
All right, welcome back to Community.
Dude, you got to see that dude smile every time he hears that drop. Look at that smile.
It took about 6 years, man.
Man, look, I wasn't in the helm then. As soon as I got it, I took care of you, didn't I?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, you still don't treat me right.
Oh, yeah.
Talk crazy to me.
You the man.
Go ahead, Keith.
All right, y'all.
We too.
Y'all still bros?
Yeah,
we gonna always be bros.
Gonna be bros.
Like I said, it's always a treat when players meet.
That's all I'm talking about.
Oh, this is gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
Gold medal game. So yeah, the Americans are playing the Australians women, and right now the score.
See, we don't got to worry. We don't got to sweat over the women. We know the women gonna do their thing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, right now they're leading the first quarter, 2016 at the end of the first quarter.
We know what they're gonna do.
Well, who's on Australia's team now? I'm trying to think who's great women.
I know back in the day it was Lauren Jackson.
Right?
I don't know who is now.
Who's on there? I have to go and see who's on the Australian team. All right, man. Well, we finish up here. Should Noah Lyles, should he have run?
I'm questioning that. If he had COVID,
he wasn't contagious, obviously, but I think you could tell that
he came in third, right?
Yeah, and he just didn't have it. That guy from Botswana.
That's pretty dangerous.
Yeah,
not just for him, but for others.
Well, they were saying again, if you're contagious after a certain point, but they said that he sat away from everyone in the warm-up room.
You have the flu and not be contagious.
I don't know when you're no longer contagious when you have the flu.
That's my point.
Yeah. So anyway, he ended up
because when you got the cold, you always contagious.
The sister who ran the 400 meters hurdle.
Oh, she a beast.
Did you see when she hit that turn? She hit the turn and it was lights out. There was nobody near her.
She runs the hurdles faster than majority of the women that run without the hurdles. That's crazy,
man. She and I was waiting on some food and we were watching it on TV at the restaurant. And I looked up and said, man, did you see? I had to watch it again. Said, did you see how she took that turn?
She a beast.
I mean, made up the stagger and made the turn. It was just like, wow. And you're right. The way she runs, haven't seen anybody do the 400 hurdles like that since Edwin Moses.
Have a happy and safe weekend, Milwaukee.
Again, the good Lord. Oh, let me thank everybody. Debo, DJ.
Thank you.
Carvey.
Keith, want to invite you and DJ back this afternoon. Have some cake and ice cream with Michelle.
Okay, man.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday.
I stop through and do that. Did y'all could use the balloons that you had for me. You just use hers for her tonight.
This guy's really cruising for a
there's my birthday gift to her. Use the balloons. Yeah, use on my birthday. Good Lord willing, creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody on Monday. Y'all have a safe weekend, and as always, go from this place in peace.
That we may see to fall.